World in London, episode 41 for the next hour here at SOAS Radio. Hello, how are you? I'm DJ RITU, bringing you the very best in global music for a 60-minute around-the-world trip. Minus the April power showers. In today's show, terrific new CDs by Benin's power voice, Angelique Kidjo, and Australia's Charlie McMahon. We've also got a few lessons in bouzouki, rebetiko and zybekico from British musician TERRYAZOOME, who'll be live in this studio. TERRYAZOOME, too many gigs, too little time.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Hello. But you like the sound of the gig over at in Barnes?
Well, yeah, we're going to go to that.
Are they friends of yours? Or
yes, Shirley's an amazing cello player. I'd never seen anybody play the cello like that. She plays it like a Middle Eastern instrument. It's fantastic. And she also does classical as well, so she's very, very versatile.
Okay, good. Well, that sounds... What time does the gig start?
About 8.
It's not too late, not too early, just about right for you to go and get some dinner after being on this show. I'd also like to welcome Angelos Yorgakis to the studio as well. Hi, Angelos. Good to see you as well. So, Terry, where does your name come? TERRYAZOOME. Where does it come from?
Well, basically, there's a Greek word. You pronounce TERRYAZOOME. And since my name is Terry, I thought, well, that's rather good. So I put it into English, and TERRYAZOOME became the band. And it means we get on, we click. So that works for us.
Perfect name for you. You started to play the bouzouki in 1990.
That's right.
What brought that on?
I'd been playing guitar for years with a band called Jam Today, and I had a break. I got fascinated by astronomy thanks to one of my heroes, Carl Sagan. And during those gigs, I started to read books about astronomy and went and did a degree. And it was impossible to gig and study, so the band sort of stopped, Jam Today, that is. And then I missed it, and I decided I would try learning a new instrument. So I found a lovely man called Michael Minas, who was one of the few people men, I should say, who was prepared to teach me, and we're just musical soulmates, and that's it. Very, very quickly, we did about 2 or 3 lessons, and I started to compose on the instrument, and we started the band. Was it a fairly natural progression for you to move from guitar to bouzouki, or was that a massive leap? It's a very different instrument, but because I'm half Greek, and it's an instrument I've always loved, it just felt like I'd come home. Does that make sense? Mm. In fact, interestingly enough, we're doing some work on reviving, putting into archives a lot of the Jam Today old material. There's a woman called Debbie Withers, and our old drummer Frankie Green is doing that. And we've dug out some of the music, and our theme tune for Jam Today, the first Jam Today, was called Jam Today. And there are some parts I play on that, which you can hear my proto-bouzouki style, which is I hadn't realised that. Have you listened to any of those early recordings, Angelos?
Well,
any thoughts on Terry's bouzouki playing in the early days?
Well, yeah, I have actually, and the stuff he's done with Michael is really amazing. I really liked it. I think that they were getting on very well. TERRYAZOOME. Okay.
And what's your background, Angelos? Were you born here or born in Greece or Cyprus?
No, I was born in Greece. Yeah. So I started learning the bouzouki when I was 12 years old. Yeah. I was fascinated by the sound. It's got a unique sound. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the instrument. It's a lute from ancient Greece, I believe, one of the mainstays used in rebetiko music. It's actually originally a Turkish instrument, and connected with the saz. Do we think? No, it's it's not the saz. There's another one. Is it the saz?
Taburas.
Basically, it was made in prison. Somebody was telling me, a friend of mine, and it's called a bouzuk, and bouzuk means
it doesn't work. It's not correct. It means something like not a whatever it was supposed to be. But then everybody loved the sound it made, and it became an instrument in its own right.
And bouzouki is actually a Turkish word.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, right. And you can have bouzoukis with 3 pairs of strings or 4 pairs of strings.
Tricordo, which is the 3-string, that was the original, and then they moved on to tetrachord, which is what I play and what Angelos plays, although he can probably play all of them, I imagine.
Okay, so you started to play bouzouki in 1990, Terry. I mean, I was kind of assuming that that's because you just had a lot of holidays in Crete or somewhere, but
no.
As you've just said, you are actually half Greek.
That's correct.
Your mother's origins are in Greece,
yes,
is that right?
My mother's actually Greek from Egypt. She's never lived in Greece. We're refugees, a lot of us, from various wars. They're from a place called Smyrni, Izmir now, and Constantinople, now Istanbul.
Yeah, okay, so from Turkey.
Yes, effectively. Greeks from there.
Izmir and Constantinople.
And now in
Istanbul,
Turkey, that's right.
In Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. You were already composing and playing instruments actually from a very young age. What is your musical history exactly?
My grandfather, my mother's father, wanted to be an opera singer, and he had a fantastic voice. He wanted to be a tenor. He was a great tenor. But again, because of the wars, he was shipped off to America. But he didn't stay there. He was in love with my grandmother, who was now in Egypt as a refugee. So he came back to Egypt and got a job in a cigarette factory. And he used to sing. And one of the things that the Greeks do is if they sponsor things for the church. I mean, presumably go to heaven quicker, I don't know. But it was a very wealthy Greek called Davaras who heard him sing and said, if I pay for you to become a priest, that'll be my contribution to the church. Will you, with your wonderful voice, become a priest? And he said, all right then. And that's what he did. And so he then inculcated his children into the singing. But because they were very strict in those days, it was only ever done at home. And they used to sing like the Beverly Sisters. Mm-hmm. So my mother had a fantastic voice. My father played the flute. There was always music. Home, Latin. My mother loved Latin music, Cuban music, Greek music, obviously, Sofia Vembo, Nikos Gounaris. And my father loved Django Reinhardt and Les Paul and Mary Ford. And then we were in Africa anyway, with all the African music.
You actually grew up in Nigeria,
I
didn't
did,
you?
yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so somehow all those influences have found their way into what is effectively your debut album.
Yes.
As a composer and as a songwriter and as a musician. So I think we should hear a track from that. Let's listen to the first one, which is called The Dalbiti Lion and the Istan Bull. TERRYAZOOME and the Dalbiti Lion and the Istanbul. Tell me about that track, Terry.
Okay,
This track, rather, we're still listening to.
I'm the Istanbul because I'm a Taurus, and my partner is the Dalbiti Lion. Lions and bulls don't always, clashes of culture. My partner's Scottish, and I started cooking Greek aubergines with garlic to go with the haggis.
No.
Oh, very nice, and it goes very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. As a Taurian, do you eat olives?
I eat everything. I don't eat eyes. That's the only thing I won't eat.
Well, fair enough.
But I'm an omnivore.
I don't think many people eat eyes, do they?
But they do in East Africa. Yeah. I mean, it's an Arab delicacy and a Greek one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's not go there.
No.
So, your fellow musicians playing on this album, apart from our good friend Angelos, who's here today, include some women that I've admired for many years. For example, bassist Alison Rayner, saxophonist Di McLaughlin. I know those women from projects like Blow the Fuse and the Emma Peel Fan Club, which was this fantastic event that used to happen at places like the Hackney Ocean every single year. And I used to DJ at that. I used to dig out all my 60s and 70s CDs for that. And singer Lorraine Jordan as well. She's one of the people that features on the album. You've mentioned Jam Today, which was one of the first female-only collectives that you were involved in from the 70s?
That's 70s and 80s. It had 3 incarnations, Jam Today, and Alison, that's how I know Alison. We started Jam Today with Frankie Green and Deirdre Cartwright and other people. And you said earlier, was this my debut? But actually, we were anti-commercial. It sounds ridiculous now, but we had a very political stance. We used to do crazy things like, we'd have great big discussions about, no, we mustn't have lights on us because we're not more special than the audience. And then, of course, there was no atmosphere, so we had to drop that. And no, we mustn't be on a stage because we're all in this together. And then, of course, they couldn't see us, so we had to drop that. But it sounds funny now, but it was a huge learning curve. And part of that was also at the time with other left-wing, not just feminists, people were breaking away from the record company Stranglehold. And we started a label called Stropica Records.
This is all around the time of really the punk movement, to some degree.
Yes, it was, I suppose. That's right. And for some reason, we still have a huge fan base in Japan, of all places. They love our music, although we weren't ever really punk. So it always amazes me how people make their own links, really.
I was thinking more about the political perspective or the rebellious aspects
Maybe
of
that's what it was.
Of what Jam Today was doing. But one of the great things as well about Jam Today and the women amongst you that were part of it is that it had a very, very much needed feminist perspective. Which I think, I say now, bring it back. We need it now.
Absolutely.
That need for better representation for women in the music industry generally has certainly not gone away in the last 40 years. Or
anywhere else. I love Facebook and I love meeting musicians around the world. And one of the ways I friend, sorry, I hate verbing things, but I friend people is if I see a woman playing anything, because even today, if you look at Facebook, you'll see that men sell what they do and women sell themselves. And I it's sad to see that still happens. But there have been changes. There are more women-led bands. Blow the Fuse have just finished doing a season with women-led bands. The season hasn't finished. All of the bands they've put on are young women-led, which is great for us.
Mm. So do you find that when you're choosing band members now for the current TERRYAZOOME incarnation, that there are more female musicians around, younger women, for example, coming into the industry, available for work?
There are. There absolutely are. Obviously, given that I've worked so many years with Alison, I can't imagine working with another bass player, but I'm sure that there are wonderful bass players out there. Should I need a dep, I know now that I can find deps for virtually anybody.
Okay.
Which is wonderful.
In terms of the traditional Greek side of your music, I mean, I'm presuming that you've absorbed a lot of knowledge, a lot of extra knowledge, by working with musicians from that region, like Angelos
and Michael, yes, and Kostas Rialas, who's another lovely local bouzouki player. Yes, absolutely, but mostly by listening. Just, I love the music and just listen and listen.
Mm. What about Greek jazz and common ground between, say, Greek jazz and modern jazz that you've been working with for a long time and are bringing into the mix of what you do as well now?
Well, when Michael and I started TERRYAZOOME in 1991, really, there weren't that many bands doing what we were doing. And it amazed me when I started doing this again, how there is a melange out there, talking about melange, a real meze of music, and people embrace all styles across the board. And in fact, actually, Europe has always had more of a diverse musical tastes. I mean, in Nigeria, we used to listen to Italian and Lebanese music, which people here were not aware of. And one of my favourite singers in Greece is called Alkistis Protopsalti. She does a lot of music in different styles, you know, some very Brechtian almost. So you can pretty much get what you want. I saw on Facebook an amazing thing. I've just made friends with a group from Taiwan who play Indian music. They play sitar and tabla. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, there's this massive dialogue going on all over the world,
yes.
Isn't it? So, okay, so on your album, Xana?
Xana.
You pronounce it, go on.
Xana. You pronounce the X.
Okay, Xana.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means again, once more, which is what I was doing with, TERRYAZOOME, bringing it back again.
Okay, so let's hear another track from that. We're going to hear a tune called Where Do We Go From Here?
Yes, Where Do We Go From Here I wrote when Jam Today broke up because I was like a headless chicken. I'd been doing it for so long, I just didn't know what to do with myself. So this is another thing I've brought back. I've rewritten this piece various times, and this is the latest incarnation.
TERRYAZOOME with DJ RITU at A World in London, also Angelos Yorgakis. So, Terry, you mentioned you also have another love besides music. think it's astrophysics, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, science, in the form of astrophysics, took you out of the musical arena for about 14 years?
A long time, far too long.
Way too long. Explain.
Well, basically, I mean, my father started my love of astronomy. He used to take me out, and in Africa you can see the stars in a way you just can't here. And he had been a pilot during the war, and they used to navigate by the stars with a pad on their right thigh in the Spitfires and Hurricanes, not with electronics. How they did it, I don't know, but they used to have to do calculations as they flew.
Why didn't they just use their iPhones?
Very funny. Anyway, and then I discovered Carl Sagan, who is the most wonderful outreach for science. And I just wanted to do it. I'm a curious child. That's really all it is. I should never have taken it beyond that. But I kept doing well in exams, having bunked out of school at 14 without anything. And it was a bit seductive, really. I kept thinking, I'll try, and then I'll get a degree, and maybe I'll try a doctorate. It was a bit like that, really.
Hungry for knowledge.
Yes.
Hungry for knowledge.
Still am.
Okay, so I also know that you're keen to have the sleeve notes on your album translated into many languages.
That's right.
Why? Is that because you just want to reach as many people as possible?
Well, that's one. Yes, that's unashamedly yes. Why not? But whenever I download an album, I tried to download an album off iTunes. There was no artwork, there were no lyrics, and it really upset me because if I was buying the CD, I'd have all those things to hand. So I don't see why you pay the same price to buy an album and yet you don't get all that other information. Who did the design? Who was who arranged the tunes? This is information I want to know. Yeah, who's playing the music?
Okay, so you're making sure that you put out an excellent quality product out there that is as accessible to as many people as possible. Right, so where can we find the album? Where can we find you on the internet? And where can we find information about the gigs you've got coming up?
Well, you can find us at our website, www.TERRYAZOOME.com, obviously, and then there are links from there to our YouTube, to everywhere. We've got a gig coming up at the Grey Horse in Kingston on the 24th of May. We're really excited about that. So come all you Greeks, come all you everybody, because we're not really Greek. We're Greek flavoured. We have flavours, hopefully, something for everybody. And our CD Xana is available from our website, and it will be available on iTunes and other places soon, but we'll sell it at gigs, and you can get it straight from us.
Lovely. TERRYAZOOME and Angelos Yorkakis, also Debbie Golt, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Time for us to wrap up this A World in London and hand over to Cal Jada from Movimientos. Thank you to TERRYAZOOME once more, to the SOAS Radio team, and to you for listening. Take good care. We'll speak at the same time next week. Ciao from me, DJ RITU.
Όλα και δεν υπάρχουν στο δρόμο που περνάς. Μια αλήθεια προσκυνάς. Άδειες καρδιές ψαρεύεις, άδεια καρδιά. Η πείνα σου απορταγεί σε τυραννά. αληθινό